An Oldsmobile with a number of firsts on today's What Are You In For? This cool car behind me is something a little unique because it's a 1949 Oldsmobile Futuramic Series 76 Sedan Delivery featuring the Rocket Olds V8. And that's kind of a mouthful. And when you start to unpack all that, you find out that the Oldsmobile for 1949 was the very first year for the 303 cubic inch overhead valve V8 engine known as the Rocket 88. And these things were pretty legendary because they made great power. The rest of the competition had flatheads at that point. So these things were not only ahead of their time, but they're also great performers. There's another cool first that the Rocket 88 spawned, and we'll get to that in just a minute. The Sedan Delivery body style is unique because they didn't make very many of them. Low numbers I'm hearing 17, high numbers I'm hearing around 300. Some of these were coach built. So Fisher Body built the front part of it, and then another shop would build the rest of it, maybe off a station wagon platform or off a commercial chassis. I don't know. But I do know that the owner bought this and really wanted to drive it and enjoy it and use it. And that's why it came to our shop at V8 Speed and Resto, because he didn't like the way it drove. So we pulled out the engine and did an analysis and found out it was just kind of worn out. So we rebuilt that original 303. Not easy to find parts for, but we got it all handled. And then we went to work on the front suspension. We removed what was there from the front of the frame forward. It had some damage on it, plus some old technology. So we replaced it with a more modern, Mustang 2 inspired street rod type front end, but now it's got tubular upper and lower control arms. It has coilover shock absorbers with the adjustability that they provide. It's got a far more precise rack and pinion steering system, and of course power brakes. So all of that is going to make this thing drive a lot nicer. Once we went through that mock-up phase of getting the front frame attached to the existing frame, we had to make sure that all the sheet metal still fit. We've seen it in the past where people strip them down to this level and weld on that front suspension and that front frame stub, and then put it all back together and the fenders don't fit anymore. So this has been fully mocked up, and now it's getting disassembled again so that all that cool stuff can get painted. So the front suspension, the frame, the engine, the firewall. Inside, we're doing some upgrades as well, some vintage air conditioning, and our interior shop is stitching up some custom stuff that'll be inside, and maybe we'll show you that on the next episode on this car. So in the beginning I mentioned that there's a bunch of firsts on this car. Well, the other one, of course, was the very first rock and roll song. That's right. Ike Turner put out a song called Rocket 88, which is credited as being the very first rock and roll song. One of the attributes of that song is that the story has it that Ike Turner dropped the guitar amplifier off the roof of his car, which broke it and made it distort. And the distortion is part of the rock and roll sound that we all know and love today. So I'm not sure how true that is, but you can research that on your own. If you have a cool old hot rod, street rod, custom, or a muscle car that you want tuned up to be able to drive better and perform and be more enjoyable like this old Sedan Delivery, you can find us anytime you want at v8speedshop.com. And we're happy to learn about the story of your old ride and make it better so you can write some brand new stories of your own behind the wheel. Thanks for watching.